Hello and welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, I interview Nikita Gupta, who is the founder of a company called Fanpath. Fanpath specializes in helping you get a job at one of the big five tech companies. So this includes Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, or Google. So what we're going to talk about is their approach to critiquing resumes. And we go pretty deep into this subject. We also touch on how Nikita views LinkedIn. So a quick little teaser is that she's used LinkedIn personally to source job opportunities. She's reached out directly to hiring managers, and it just so happened that she reached out to the right person at the right time and got asked to interview directly off of someone that she reached out to on LinkedIn. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into this podcast interview. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. So today I've got Nikita Gupta, who is kind of an analytics rock star. And she's even a TEDx speaker, which is something that I'm very curious about doing. So Nikita, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. I mean, it's interesting, the time difference, because it's 9:10 here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I guess is it 6 p.m. in Seattle?
6:15, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, other than being a little bit tired, everything's fantastic. But I'm really excited to get to talk to you about, well, all things analytics. Specifically, so you were the founder of Fanpath,
Yep.
which is, to my understanding, because I looked at your LinkedIn and your website, you pair data scientists at the big tech companies with people trying to break into that space.
Yep, exactly.
And then they do kind of like a resume / mentorship. I guess let's kick off this interview with, why don't you just kind of tell us what is Fanpath in your own words?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Thanks a lot, first of all, John, for kind of calling me over your podcast. And it's really great. Thanks a lot for that. So to tell you more about FANGPath. So FANGPath is basically, I started it like some months back. I recently started in July. And the main reason and the thing why I started is to kind of see, like when I moved to US, I saw, like I myself was one of the job seekers because I moved from Singapore to US and I was looking for jobs into data analytics side. And when I was searching jobs on LinkedIn specifically, I saw that people were using the hashtag called open to work. They were changing their profile photos and they were like, we are being laid off by the companies and we are struggling with a lot of interview calls and we're not getting any calls, right? So the thing is, like, I wanted to help them, and I always in the past struggled to kind of getting the right resources at one places. So I never got a mentor, I never got the right things like what to write in LinkedIn, what to write in resume, how to get to a mentor. So there was no right path for me in the past. So I just thought, like, why not help these people bring out something and also help them with the help of the right mentors. Like, it's not like you are from a data science background and I am connecting you with a software engineer person. So that is not what we do. At FANGPath, we are trying to build a path for you to actually get into FAANG. Like, that is our objective, but definitely it's not like just restricted to FAANG, but we are trying to kind of make sure that your resume stands out, and if it's getting shortlisted in any of the FAANG companies, for sure it will get shortlisted for other companies. So we are trying our best, and the help which you will be getting will be from the FAANG mentors, the people who are actually themselves the hiring managers, who've been into FAANG from last at least like 3-4 years, and they know that what they see in the resumes when they kind of hire you or when they shortlist your resumes, what an HR sees or what an recruiter sees or basically a hiring manager sees in your resume, and into that area basically. So that's why we thought, and slowly, like, I started with a couple of friends this organization, like, but slowly it started growing and more mentors started coming in. I don't know from where, but they started coming in. Like, they started approaching, they were like, we want to help you, we are working in this company, we are working in Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, we want to help you. And then people started also approaching us saying that, hey, like, I am into product management, can I connect to a product manager person? Hey, I am into software engineering, can I? So this is how the company started growing in, and we thought that we don't want to restrict ourselves to only technology or data science or one area of the thing. So we expanded, and we are kind of having mentors from all the areas. Like, Some people, we do have catered the resumes into supply chain also. We have catered the resumes into operations also. And someone who is into the HR side also has approached us, and we have helped them in the resume building.
Okay.
So that is where we are trying to kind of grow this organization.
So I have not heard anyone on the podcast, at least on the How to Get an Analytics Job podcast, use the word you called it shortlisting. What
Yep.
is that? What does that mean?
Resume shortlisting basically happens like there is a process which every company follows. Like even if it's a startup, they has a process in house which they follow. And especially for the big companies like Amazon or the other FAANG companies, they have a very designed format which they follow. So you can see their job portal. You can see a job either on LinkedIn or their website or anywhere. You go on their apply button, you apply there. You are like, okay, now our profile is good, our resume is good, we should get a call from HR tomorrow or in coming days, but it never happens. So why? People don't know like the whole hiring process, how it works, what happens in the back end, but they are like, okay, we have just applied and resume is good, we should get a call. But in the back end, there's a system called ATS, applicant tracking system, which
Right. Because Tina, for those of you guys who are listening to the audience, Nikita here actually saw the resume critique of Tina Huang. Is she one of your mentors, by the way?
no.
Okay, so she's the type of person who would be in your mentorship program, and we actually talked about that. See, I would call it keyword research for your resume. So
Yeah.
you need to, because the point within the resume critique where Tina Huang actually critiqued my Greensboro College student Christina was
Okay.
that what we were talking about, the skill section of your resume,
Yep.
and
Yep.
how personally I think just listing skills is not very meaningful.
Yep.
But then she pushed back a little bit on that, on if you don't have a skill listed, you're going to get weeded out before even the first round. Like the AI is going to just pull you out of the applicant pool
Yep.
before anyone sees your resume.
Yep. So basically, they are, I mean, it's quite relevant what you are saying. So when you tell about the keyword thing, like I can agree to the point that you need to have those skills and those words in your resume, but they are not just the skills. Like, for example, you are a data scientist or a data analyst. So if I'm writing Excel, Excel is important. I'm not saying that it's not important. Tableau is important as a BI engineer, but on top of it, you need to show or you need to have keywords like analyze. You need to have keywords which are like not relevant, or you don't feel that they are too relevant like when you write in the resume, but they are actually the keywords for that particular profile. So that is something you need to put in your resume, and they are actually counted as one of the keywords, because every profile and every ATS has their set of keywords. So which we definitely don't know, but they are like AI systems and the computerized systems, and they have this set of keywords which you need to have it in your resume to make sure that your resume matches at least 80% to the job descriptions you are applying. So if your resume is like 20-30% matching, you are like, okay, I have put in all the keywords of the skill sets or all the tools. I've written Power BI, I've written Tableau, I've written Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, but that's not the only sufficient thing required in the matching of the job descriptions. So you need to use, yeah.
Okay, so I've got two kind of follow-up questions to that. Of the conversation we had was certifications. So like Christina specifically put proficient in Excel and PowerPoint, and I said that is assumed, but then Tina was saying Excel needs to be somewhere on that resume. Is that correct, or how would you frame that up? And because my suggestion to Christina is that she's going to be my capstone course for the analytics minor of the next 4 months, and what I was saying is, why don't you get a certification in Excel? So then you could have certified in Excel as opposed to just proficient, because that doesn't seem very meaningful.
I mean, she can definitely use like her certification, what she's going to get, like it's an add-on thing, what she's going to put that to show that she's proficient in Excel, and that's an add-on. But just writing that I have a certificate in Excel and I have done this particular certificate, might not be 100% relevant of her resume to get shortlisting for the jobs she's going to apply. So because a job, when she's going to apply, she need to show that how and where she has used Excel on top of her certificate to kind of get, like, because she need to know, show the knowledge of how she has used the Excel, what she has done, how much data she has kind of used in the Excel, how many rows, how big data set was there, then what was the useful analysis of it. So basically the whole use of Excel, what she has done either in her work experience or maybe in her personal projects or school projects or university projects. So she need to show that particular thing rather than just writing that, hey, I have done a certification in Excel, because that is, yeah.
Okay, can we go through a concrete example? Because I think that this is, I'm kind of thinking on behalf of the audience who's listening, because if they're getting a degree in analytics or even just of management, like
Yep.
business management,
Mhm.
how would they write that they have used Excel to execute on projects?
Okay, let me do one thing. Let me open my resume and let you see or read one of the Excel lines so
Okay.
that it's easy for me to kind of share the exact. So I know that from last 5 years of experience, I've worked in agencies and I have used Excel almost every day, like in my work experience. So instead of writing that I've just used Excel, what you mentioned, I can just say, go ahead and I've written a line which is like, optimize the analytics reporting generation time from 5 hours to 30 minutes and reduction in 45 percentage cost using advanced Excel. So this is a particular
Okay.
line where I'm just showing, like, to the hiring manager that I know Excel. I might have done some certification in Excel, my degree is in Excel, but how I've used Excel and how I've used Excel and kind of improved things, and it has helped me in my work experience. So that is something where you need to show. And the words which I have written, like you can hear what I've said: optimize, reporting, time generation. So all those things are, like, again, some of the keywords which I've tried to get in from a lot of the analytics jobs to put it in my resume on top of just the Excel keyword.
Right. And what you also did was you quantified, which is something
Yep,
that I've been telling the
exactly.
audience a
Exactly.
lot. It's a little bit, I'm in a privileged position in that I run my own consulting agency. So I can say, this led to $50,000 in increased sales or
Yep.
$25,000 in reduced costs. If
Yep.
you're starting out as a student, um, it's kind of hard to have those big wins. So I'm so glad that you came on and kind of gave a concrete example that is much more kind of easy for someone who is just taking a class right now. So I guess that's what if the student hasn't had any projects though? I mean, are they just kind of out, or could they find some, like, I don't
Yep.
know, join student groups or volunteer? Like, how would you recommend them getting that first job?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, definitely if you are already studying or you're going to graduate soon or you have not done anything related to Excel in your projects, like academic projects or something, you can maybe do some side project like on a personal, because Excel is something where you can do a Kaggle, like
Mhm.
data. You can take a Kaggle data, download it, and you can just use Excel and you can put it as a project. You can say, hey, I've done this, I downloaded this and this is the link and I've analyzed it and now I see the result like this. So the time, like what I mentioned it, you can say that the time was reduced by this. I use this Excel using pivot table, macros, or anything, like whatever you want to mention. And that is how kind of show that you have done something, though you don't had any professional experience or industry experience, but you have used Excel even in your personal front, right? So that is where it shows that you know Excel even though you have not. Or the second option is you can go for an internship, like it can be any
Right.
company, or you can go ahead, because a lot of startups and small businesses have kind of started because of COVID. So maybe you can go ahead and kind of connect with any of the startups, or you can, like, it's not always like obvious. People say that we can't get internships in big organizations. I can understand that, but you can go ahead with the startups and just try to have a good experience in the internship area, learn as much as you can, and then put it in your experience that, hey, I've used Excel in this form and in with this company or this organization.
Right. I'm actually working on a project with Christina. where she's analyzing nonprofit data. So
Yeah.
that seems like a completely untapped area. And one thing, I've been the treasurer for a local nonprofit for 2 years now. Most of the
Yeah.
people in the nonprofit space are, I want to be kind, they're not super into data. Like
Mhm.
they just aren't data people. They want to like do good out in the world, but
Yeah.
when it comes to numbers and spreadsheets, they kind of like their eyes glaze over and they don't want to do it.
Mhm.
So finding local nonprofits where you can say, hey, I'm an analytics student and I want to work with your data to quantify the impact because this can help you get more funding, which
Yeah.
is actually the name of the game now because funding is becoming increasingly
Mhm.
competitive. And if you have an impact dashboard that can
Yep.
say, we fed X amount of children or we helped, X amount of business owners or whatever it is, if you can quantify that. Also, too, what's cool about that is it's marketing analytics, like it's marketing material. So you can actually probably what we're doing with Christina is she's going to be analyzing the impact of a $10,000 grant that nonprofit I work with got,
Yep.
and we're going to turn it to a Tableau Public dashboard that's going to go on her website. So she can also put that on her LinkedIn page.
Got it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And like Excel is just one part of the skill of the data analyst, but on top of it, like if someone wants to show some dashboarding skills or something, they can have a account on Tableau. They can go ahead and make some free dashboards, which and then they can share the link on their resume or anywhere. And then if someone is like a proper data scientist, then they can go ahead and put some Python codes, R codes on GitHub, and they can share
Mm-hmm.
their GitHub profile in their resume. So that is something where they can show their like technical skills. They can say that okay, I know a lot of Python, R, or even SQL, they can say. So these are the like small projects which they can make on their personal and they can add in their resume profile, LinkedIn. And it's easy to share these links also because it's public and anyone can go ahead and anyone can see the dashboards, because a lot of people have recently seen that on LinkedIn when the COVID happened and data was there coming in from the government. And so a lot of people have built the dashboards for the specifically with the COVID data. So that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of good to kind of monitor, and people are tracking that how the different states in US are doing in terms of numbers are increasing. So a lot of people have that, and I've seen really cool dashboards in the last 6 months. So those kind of dashboards you can go ahead and in the interview also you can show it to the hiring managers or to the recruiters saying that hey, I have built this, and you can walk through.
Right. Well, that's actually so I'm just finishing up the first. I created a class for Greensboro College called Case Studies in Business Analytics, and their final exam was actually I critiqued their Tableau Public portfolio pages.
Okay.
So each of them had to have a minimum of 3 dashboards.
Mhm.
One was school sports data because almost all of the students I had in my class were athletes, and then we did 4 Tableau case studies the last
Mhm.
month of the semester, and then if they wanted to add in something else, like actually one of them studied polling error data or the polling error in the US election, and he turned it into a really striking visualization, which is actually we had a data scientist come on the podcast and critique that visual, which was really cool. But yeah, so for those of you who are listening, Tableau Public is free, and all you need to do is find data. I mean, you can find it from your school, you can find it from the CDC or wherever. But Nikita, it sounds like you work with analysts or analytics professionals and data scientists. I think that Tableau Public's probably not the best fit for data scientists. So you'd say GitHub or Kaggle is probably a better platform.
I mean, like if you want to show too much of your technical skills and want to go into data science, back into machine learning and all, you need to show more of your regression analysis or those kind of things. So for that, you need to definitely go for the Kaggle data, or like you mentioned about the GitHub, in terms of where you can go ahead and do modeling or some machine learning skills. And there you can download and do a lot of analysis, and you can upload it online somewhere, and you can add the links to kind of keep track to the people, or to the put it in your resume as a links to show that okay, I know this model also, I have done this also. Or maybe as I said, that you can write it as a personal project in your resume to just mention it that okay, kind of highlight that you know all these things. And you can go ahead and learn more basically when you're given a chance as a full-time worker.
Oh, awesome. So I had two questions. The first question we kind of talked about in depth just now, but the follow-up question that I had also was, it sounds like it's important that first section, kind of where you introduce yourself. I knew that the keywords applied to the skill section of your resume, but I didn't realize like words like optimize, analyze. I mean, how would you advise someone to kind of write that? What would you call it? What is that the section of the resume called? The header or the introduction section?
No, I mean, you don't have to kind of put like a special section for those kind of things. You need
Mhm.
to add those things in overall your resume. So you need to, for example, like I gave
Okay.
you example, so that particular line was in one of my work experience. So that is not like I have to particularly find a place in my resume and put all the keywords together there. No, it just you have to kind of use, like for example, obviously if you're a data analyst, you have analyzed a lot of data, right? You do analysis day and night. So you
Mhm.
can say that I have analyzed a large data set from XYZ and came up with an efficiency of 80%. So this kind of line is like where you have used two keywords. You don't even realize, but you have used two keywords which are important for a data analyst role. And when you kind of apply, you can find in the job description that those roles are there, and then it kind of matches. So that percentage matches a lot, and it's easy for you to kind of the the keyword matching or the that ratio to increase basically on top of just adding the skills basically or the tools basically what are required in the job descriptions.
Okay, cool. Can you kind of give a breakdown of what are these keywords for? Maybe you can do two different batches. So one for, an analyst role or BI role or supply chain analyst or something like that, and then maybe data scientist. Because it sounds like they're probably a different set of keywords, or they kind of very much overlapping?
Definitely they won't be overlap, like they can be overlapping but not too much, because obviously data scientist is more technical side
Mhm.
and data analysis is less technical as compared to that. But on the same hand, both involves a lot of data analysis. So definitely you need to kind of use those keywords which are kind of common. But on the same hand, as I mentioned, that you need to go through the job descriptions again and again. You need to kind of go through and see that okay, I have written SQL, I have written Excel, I have written Tableau, Power BI, but on top of it, what exactly, like because in the job descriptions they have clearly mentioned what are the your day to day requirement, what you will be doing. So you need to kind of take care of that, and you need to make sure that whatever that's written, I'm not saying that copy paste that, because obviously that's not right, but try to understand what they are looking for and make use of those things. And yeah,
So you're saying that the keywords are in the job posting.
options. Yep.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
the keyword research is done for you. So kind of the question I was asking was like, do you have a set of like analyze, optimize, uncover or
Yep.
words? So you're saying they'll pretty much give it to you and you need to take what they've written, figure out what are the keywords and make sure that those are somewhere in your resume.
Yeah, exactly. So like there are few free websites, like not totally free, but there are few websites online where you can do one thing. You can pass your resume and you can pass the job descriptions and see that how much it's matching. So see that, go ahead. I can tell you a couple of names. You can go ahead and kind of do that. They have built some like ATS systems, which we also kind of are using to, when you kind of pass, someone comes to FAANG they give us their resumes. We ask them for at least like 2 3 job descriptions or the links what they are applying to, and then we match their job descriptions to the resumes, and then we tell them, hey, your resume is matching 20%. So if you're going and the person is himself or herself is saying, I'm not getting a call, so that actually shows that why you're not getting a call, because your
Mhm.
resume is just matching 20%, obviously it's getting rejected. So that is
Right.
you need to pass in, and that's the role of the ATS, to match and to tell you that these are the words which are missing, these are the things which are missing. You can go ahead and kind of add in this.
Mhm. Awesome. Okay, so it sounds like we've kind of covered the resume. Do you guys talk about well, two things. So LinkedIn or the interview process. Do you do interview prep?
Yep. Yep, I have been doing, and like since I think after my bachelor's, I have given, I think, more than 100 interviews. I think so. Yeah, more
Oh,
than
wow.
100. Yeah, 100 interviews. So I think, and like majority of them were into analytics and all. So I can definitely tell you more about like what are the exact things they are looking for when you go into the interview, and what are the expectations. And definitely I've been rejected also, so that is like not because obviously, but the thing is like the most important factor what they look in the interview process generally is definitely first is the HR call, which is like a very basic round in terms of understanding, okay, when are your availability, how much package are you looking in, when you want to start, and all the basic conversations happen in the HR round. And then sometimes, like rarely it happens that HR rounds are also long, and HRs are also trained sometimes to kind of understand that our profile fits in into the role or not, but that is like very rare cases. But I have been in that cases where HR is calling me and I'm having an interview for an hour. So I was like amazed, and I was like, okay, this is new, but this has also happened. And then you go into the, like you pass that round, and then you go and meet your first hiring manager. So the hiring manager generally asks you about your resume, like what he opens your resume in a new desktop, laptop, or whatever, and they just ask you, grill you around your resume. You need to share about what you have done, what. So at that point of time, again, you need to do two things. What I generally do: open your resume one side and open your job descriptions for the exact role. And third thing what I also do is, like before going in or entering into the resume, I always see the person's the hiring manager's LinkedIn or the profile, to kind of see what, how much the technical the person is, how much non-technical the person is, or what they are good at it, so that to understand and to
Mhm.
kind of prepare for it. Because
Right.
if the person is too technical and you don't know SQL or you don't know Python, and you're just going into the interview, the person is going to ask you, and you are just done with the round, right? So you need to make sure that, I always do that, and I always ask my HRs to send me the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile. So I go through them, and I used to do that before, but I have stopped them in last 1 year. If you are going, you can send them a request also, the hiring managers on LinkedIn, and tell them that, hey, hi, it's great to meet you before the interview, and we are going to have an interview on this day, and great to connect with you. So it's kind of a good thing, so that the hiring manager will not only go through your resume, but also will go through your LinkedIn.
Right. What you're hitting on here is soft skills. So you're getting a read on the room. It's like you're doing pre-work
Yep.
to tailor, okay, this person is the business manager. They're not the data scientist that I'm interviewing with. So I don't need to talk about the nuance of machine learning or, the SQL code that I'm using or, level of detail calculations within Tableau. I need to talk about high level. Here's how I use analysts. Here's how I use Tableau or Excel to drive a business outcome. And,
Yep.
and, and you, and that is almost, I think, a test into itself, because if you cannot communicate in layman's terms to a non-technical person, they're probably not going to hire you.
Exactly. Yep. That's true. And as I mentioned, that once you start your interview process, at least try to go through the job description like 2 3 times before you enter, and even try to open it in your laptop when you're doing an interview, so to keep yourself on track while the interview.
Mhm.
You don't like, you, the job requirement need you to kind of have a good experience into paid marketing side, but you're speaking about something else, like you're not like going and you're not speaking even one line on paid marketing. So that is something where you need to realize that you need to stick with the job description, you need to speak about, and you need to mold your profile, and you need to speak as much as you can about paid marketing, so that the hiring managers is like, okay, by the end you end your introduction, the hiring manager is like, oh wow, this is what I'm looking for, this is the person I'm looking for. If that conversation and that comment you're getting, you're good, you're like, okay, this is good going, this is good going. But if the hiring manager is like, okay, like no comments is coming, nothing, and the hiring manager is not like, because it, like, I generally feel that with the thing when hiring, the interviewer kind of take the interview, I generally get that, because if they are giving good comments, if they are happy with whatever you are saying, it's going good, the flow is going, and the atmosphere remains good, right? Like the things are in your favor. But once you kind of don't do that, and you just blindly just say randomly anything not related to your profile or to the job descriptions, obviously things won't end in your way.
Right. What I would call that is it's essentially active listening.
Yeah.
So you may be an expertise in Python, but they're talking about R. So talking about the language that's not relevant. And I think that this is something that is common, specifically in the analytics data science space. People feel like they need to show their technical clout or acumen, and that's going to be what's impressive to people who might hire them. But what's impressive, I think, is being able to listen to the other person
Mhm.
and sift through all the things that you know in your head and give them the exact thing that they want or need or are looking from you.
Yeah, I think that's really what I was saying, that you really need to be active, and you really need to kind of see what you're speaking and what you're going to speak next, basically, because that's really important, and that's going to impact a lot your interview.
Right. Yeah. Well, because I mean, I think I get it why people tend to kind of overshare on the technical side, because I think that, and I've had this conversation with a few hiring managers, is I think a lot of people trying to get jobs confuse like being really intense in the hard skills is what's going to get them their next opportunity. And what kind of seems to be well, you need to be someone that is enjoyable to work with. You need to have the skills for sure. There's a threshold. Like if you don't have enough skills,
Mhm.
you're out of the job pool. But then also you need to have the business acumen, and you need to understand how to apply those hard skills in a way that drives kind of business outcomes, which I think is very much underappreciated. At least I don't know, and maybe it's easier to create a course on hard skills than soft skills. So maybe that's why, there's so many courses on,
Mhm.
Python or Tableau or Power BI or all of these tools.
Yep. That's true. Yeah. And going forward, like whatever you're going to speak about your profile, your resume, recruiters, or not recruiters, but the interviewers are generally going to crave, or they are going to mold your questions, next questions around that. Like, for example, you said that I know Google Analytics, I know multi channel and attribution model. Their next question will be, okay, tell us more about multi channel attribute. So, see that whatever you're speaking, if you're saying A B testing, the next question will be like maybe 2 3 questions down the line, they are going to for sure come back and they're going to ask you what is A/B testing, how you have used A/B testing. So you need
Mhm.
to make sure that whatever words you're using, first of all, you know them, like those techniques, and they are relevant to your job descriptions, and they should be there in your resume, and you can answer them, you can have an example related to those things. So if you are saying A/B testing, you have done A/B testing in the past, you know it thoroughly, and you can connect one example to it, because in the end you need to show that this is where I've used A/B testing and this was the output, and now how I can be not an expert, but like how I can use A/B testing going forward. So you need to.
Right. Yeah, because it's one thing to like read about A/B testing in a textbook, but it's another thing to run a campaign and then, A/B split test two
Yeah.
different thumbnails or two different, you know, copy versions and then see what works and then double down on that which works and then get results. Yeah, that's really interesting. Also, what I wanted to ask you was, it sounds like most of the people that you're working with probably have what, 5 to 10 years worth of experience.
Yep.
What is the split between? So Tina Huang actually got an entry level job. So
Mhm.
she went and she got a master's degree in I think computer science,
Mhm.
and then got a entry level. Her first job was at a big tech company. Is
Yep.
that rare, or is that, what is the landscape like at these big tech companies? Are they usually looking to hire people who are seasoned, whatever role they are, or are they looking to pull people directly out of colleges?
I mean, it's totally definitely on your profile, then how much you are kind of working into getting that particular role. That is the second thing. And on top of it, how well you are performing in an interviews. So definitely, even if you are a fresher or who have recently graduated, big companies like Amazon, Facebook, Google, they do hire freshers. They do have roles for freshers, and even if they can hire you for a junior level role, but they will hire you, and the salary might be like a very beginner salary, but on the same hand they will hire you. But you need to make sure that you justify in all the steps, that you justify your resume is there for the FAANG company or any big tech company, or your profile is there, then you kind of crack all the interviews. So when I graduated, I did my masters and in business analytics, and I was looking for my first job. I applied to Omnicom Media Group, like, which is the media agency. And to be very frank, I was just randomly applying because I was like very desperate to get my first job out of the school. And I randomly got one call one day saying that, hey, I'm an HR from Omnicom OMD, and we would like you to come for an interview for a data analyst role. And that was the first time that I researched what is Omnicom, basically. Like, after she just like had the call, and went back and I was like, oh wow, this is a very big, not a tech company but a media company, where, because I know that media companies, people don't know much about them. They are like not very famous as Amazon, as or Facebook, or these tech companies, but on the same hand, they are like the world's number one agencies, and they kind of operate into the media side. So it's totally up to you. Even as a fresher, you can go ahead and crack the roles in these organizations. And people actually are good in these big tech companies or big organizations. They are open to hiring at all the levels. It's totally up to you that you need to find the relevant role, because role job description generally mention that how much years of work experience you should have. If they are like, okay, you should have 4 years of experience, it's no point of applying to those roles. But if they are like,
Mhm.
okay, 1 to 3 years of experience, if you even apply that, they will definitely call you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's actually close out this interview on talking about the role of LinkedIn in getting your next or even your first analytics job. So what kind of advice do you guys have for using LinkedIn for finding or sourcing opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is specifically like really important to kind of find a job. Like, I have been using LinkedIn from last, I think, 7 years, since I graduated. And I have been approached, not like really by recruiters also, and a lot of people has always been like, this is an opportunity from in our organization, would you like to interview? Or the best thing what I find through LinkedIn is that you can reach out to the people who are like the hiring managers, or the people who themselves are hiring for different roles. So someone who is like a partner, or someone who is a manager, or they themselves has a role. So has this has happened with me in the past when I was in Singapore, and I just randomly reached out to one of the partners in KPMG, and he was actually like, I just approached him thinking that he's a partner and he's working with management consulting and really wanted to go into that. I just dropped him saying that, hey, this is my profile, this is my resume, and I'm looking for a management consulting role. And luckily it happened that he himself was looking for a like to build a team under him and in his department, and he was like, hey, let's catch up for a coffee. I really liked your profile, I really wanted to meet you, and let's see. And then like within a week I went down and I met him, and he then connected me with other like his team members, and the interview process went on, and finally I got that job offer. Like, eventually I did not take that because of the some personal reasons, but I had that job offer in my hand. And
Mhm.
it went really well in terms of that partner level person you went ahead and met through a coffee, and everything was really great. So this is the like the power of LinkedIn. And on top of it, I really feel that people replies you. Like, if your profile looks like very not fake, or it's very real, people do reply to you, people do try to reach out to you, people do try to kind of hire you through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has always been very helpful. And the other thing where I find LinkedIn very useful is, like, for example, you're looking for a job in Amazon or any other organization, and you find someone there, so there's an option, like not an option, but there's a thing where you can see that what are the recent activities or things the person is doing, which I always check out, like whenever I send a request. And through that recent activities, actually it can make me understand that what exactly the person is looking for, and if they themselves are hiring or if their peers are hiring. So in the lockdown or in the like this COVID time, a lot of people are posting a lot of things, so they share their recruiters like posts, they share their teammates posts. So that kind of helped me to apply to those roles also. So the person might not be hiring, but their activity shows me that okay, this is what the person is doing.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic tactic. And I've actually got a pretty cool story related to this. And Al is going to love that I'm shouting him out on the podcast. So, probably about 6 months ago, we had a podcast listener who started following us, and he responded and posted and replied thoughtfully to just about everything we put out. And it's gotten to the point now where he is every single thing we're putting out, he's responding to. And I actually reached out to him. Well, he came on the podcast and kind of talked about his career transition. So he's in the Marines, and he's looking to transition into an analytics role when he gets out of the military. And what we're actually doing this month is he is getting to take over the LinkedIn company page for how to get an analytics job. And already within, I think, the past week or two, he's increased our followership by 156, which is, I think it's 760% higher than what it is in a typical month. So within just 2 weeks already, he's got something that he can sit down in an interview and say, look, I researched the LinkedIn algorithm. I figured out, for example, he started finding actionable insights for us. Like, we were posting our YouTube videos directly into LinkedIn, and I didn't realize this, but it's kind of a silly mistake to make in that LinkedIn wants to keep you on LinkedIn. So when you post a YouTube video, it buries it in the algorithm. So what he started doing is taking a screenshot of the YouTube thumbnail and then adding the YouTube post in the LinkedIn comment, in the first comment. And that has just skyrocketed the engagement on our posts. So this is something that is tangible and real that he could talk about in an interview. But also too, I mean, he basically created his own like little job for us that is going to help get him, his first foot in the door. And I think the following people and being active is an extremely potent way of warming someone up. So if you wanted to connect with someone who is a partner or a manager, my advice would be follow them and then start interacting with their posts. And then, so your first message is not going to be, hey, here's my resume, here's what I want, can you help me? It's, oh, I've noticed that you posted 3 times about this one topic. Here's an article that I found. I'd love to talk to you about it. And then that kind of takes away the transactional nature of I want something out of you into I'm a human, you're human, we're both interested in this thing. Let's talk about it. And I think that a lot of people on social media do it wrong, and I mean, I think I've been guilty of this in that I just posted promoting myself. But if you're engaging with people and building relationships, the amount of opportunity and just the amount of reach is really, really incredible.
Yep, that's true.
So that's awesome that you completely, well, I wouldn't say you bypassed the interview process, but you basically created your own amazing referral in that the person looking to hire said, hey, interview this person. What was in that message?
Yep. Like once you can you repeat that?
So what was in the message that you sent to the person who was looking to hire someone?
Okay, so basically, I just send, like, whenever I see that people are hiring or they posted that, hey, I am in this company and I'm looking for this role. So I just first of all try to send a simple message saying that myself Nikita and I have 5+ year of experience and this is my profile. I've done this thing, and I saw your recent post where you are saying that you are hiring for this role. So maybe it will be great if we can connect and talk more about it. And if you would like to talk more about the role, or if you want to kind of have more details about my profile, I'm happy to share, and looking definitely forward to talking to you more. So a lot of times it can happen that people don't reply to you because obviously people get too many like messages
Right.
when they do that. So don't get like disheartened or don't get like that. Okay, the other thing is like maybe you can drop a small note saying that on the post saying that, hey, hi, this I saw your, like, thanks a lot, first of all, hope you're doing well, because obviously it's COVID time. Then you can go ahead and say that like, thanks a lot for sharing this amazing opportunity. I would like love to talk more about it. I would love to learn more about it. This is my LinkedIn or this is my resume, and looking forward to talking to you. So both ways can work, and it has worked me, like, and it has not worked for me. I'm not saying that, oh, it like 100% it will work for you, but definitely you will see that people are, instead of, because I've seen people just write interested, that is not will lead you to kind of, because people generally don't look for just interested word, and no one has a time, like someone who is a manager or someone who is like a VP level person, they don't have enough time to click on your profile or to go through everything till the time you tell them everything upfront. So they are looking for the information, like it's kind of a, they have put you on a plate in front of you. Now you have to put everything in the plate, and if you're not doing that, the chances are that you're not going to get any response from them.
Awesome. Well, so speaking of LinkedIn, where can people find you? So you said you had 13,000 followers. So hopefully, to those of you who are listening to this, go and follow Nikita. And so what else have you got going on? Because I guess this interview is pretty much wrapped up. So
Yep.
let's promote you. So you've got Fang Path
Yep.
and your LinkedIn. Are there any other things you want to get a shout out to?
I mean, do go and kind of follow our Instagram FAANG page and LinkedIn FAANG page. And I'm saying that because we share a lot of free resources. Like
Mhm.
I personally handle the FAANG LinkedIn account also. So in 6 months of time, the FAANG LinkedIn followers have increased up to 3,000. And
Oh,
the reason is
nice.
like, yeah, so the reason is like I am doing a lot of different things, and I'm try to do that, and I share a lot of job opportunities, because I said that I have 13,000 people in my, so my followers connections and their connections. So I generally see lot of career opportunities like in US, across the globe, and whenever I see that, like whether they're in Singapore, Hong Kong, US, anywhere, I just share them through FANGPath page. So a lot of people who are like looking for jobs, they should follow FANGPath. Not only like, I'm not saying go for a paid service, because we do have that, but on top of it we offer these free services where we are not charging anything, but we are just helping out, giving all the opportunities at one place. And on the same hand, we have a Discord channel also, FANGPAR Discord channel, so where we already have like more than 2,000 people. So go and connect there and ask, because we have FANG mentors, like people are there, a lot of FANG mentors are there, and a lot of FANG mentors help in the referrals also. So if you want any referral in any of the FANG company, go and reach out, share your profile, say that, hey, I am looking for this role, this is my profile, and this is the role I'm targeting. They are mentors who are happy to, more than happy to refer you basically.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, this was I feel like this episode was just packed with so much information. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot again to you for recording this session, and it was great and awesome talking to you.